The pandemic definitely, like, you know, it made me just think about things a little differently. You know what I mean? Because you know, I have friends and family. I have friends and family. You know that everybody has different beliefs. You know what I mean? So that's another thing too. So, you know, some people are like in the beginning were like, oh, this is just it's a hoax. It's this, and then I got people that are like won't even interact with you through like a door. You know what I mean? Everybody's different. So, you know, I think just navigating this was just about being patient with people. You know what I mean? Like everybody, some people want to wear masks, some people don't. Some people this, you know, and some people want to take a vaccine, some people don't. So I feel like it was just about being like patient with people and kind of like understanding people's perspectives and seeing what they're going through. You know what I mean? Because you don't know, some people lost their jobs, some people got unemployment, some people didn't, some people, you know, everything's different. So for me, it was just kind of like just being patient with people and kind of just, you know, like taking everything with a grain of salt. And then also like for me, it was also good to stay home a little bit and just like kind of think about what I need to do. Cause as a producer, I tend to get like so zoned in on just making beats and making music, and, you know, that I forget about like, you know, making sure my books are in order, making sure my, you know, all this other stuff. So I like hyper focus on the music, and then you just kind of like shift it. I'm like, oh wow, I still haven't built my website. I still haven't done this. So I was like, I took the time to do that. So, you know, one day I sat down, I was like, this week I'm doing my website, you know? So I built my website. I haven't launched it yet, but it's like ready to go. Then another day I did something else, like another week I did something else, and I kind of like tried to structure it. And then once I got back to the studio, you know, I kind of, some days I do this, some days I do that. And I try to like organize myself a little better, because, you know, I get lost in the music, the listening to the music, the, you know, making music. So it's just been kind of shifting and being a little more focused on the overall picture, you know? There's definitely stress that comes with anything, any type of change in general, you know what I mean? But for me, I mean, I was more concerned about my girl than anything, because she like, you know, was working the entire pandemic. She's like an essential worker. So like, you know, I was just like, just making sure, you know, she was good and everything like that. But for me, it was, you know, it was a little bit of a shift. You know, I can't, you know, I have a studio that I go to. I have a studio that I like, you know, that's my spot that I go to on a regular basis. So at first I was like, all right, I'm just going to work from the crib, because I don't want to, like, you know what I mean, go back and forth, and I don't know what's going on. They're saying, if you touch this and touch that, you'll get, you know. So I was like, you know what, maybe I'll just stay home for a little bit. So I stayed at the crib, and I kind of set up shop here. And it started off with me like sitting at a desk making, you know, beats on the laptop. Then I started, you know, gravitating towards the couch. Then my back started hurting because I was sitting on the couch making beats for hours. Then I was like, you know, then I just had to switch it up. But it's just one of those things where you just got to get, you know, you just got to adjust to what you're doing. But you know, making beats on the road when I'm on the road with Mayhem is like something that I've done before. So I kind of just tapped into that type of thing. Like, imagine I was just sitting in a hotel room making a beat, you know what I mean? So it kind of, it worked. You know, I look out the window, I you know, chop something up, I listen back, I go make myself a smoothie, you know what I mean? Like, I just try to get in the routine of just doing stuff as I'm cleaning and doing whatever. So it all kind of just, because I felt like if I sat down, like I just focus on this and then I wouldn't do that. So I was like, if I do everything, kind of, it worked out. Any movies or anything that was inspiring I mean, definitely The Last Dance, like, you know, you mentioned that was incredible, you know, like, you know, just growing up in that time too, like, you know, Mike was Mike, you know what I mean? I was a Knicks fan because I'm from New York, but Mike was Mike. So I always, you know, saluted. And if they were playing and it had nothing to do with the, you know, Knicks, I was, you know, I'd watch the games, I'd be into it. But anything else that kind of inspired me, I'm trying to think of other stuff. I mean, I watched a bunch of things. I was, you know, I went back and I watched The Wire. I always loved The Wire. That's like a great one. I go back to that and I watched like different stuff. But I don't know, for me, it was more watching other artists focus on their shit too. You know what I mean? Like, that kind of like was driven for me. And the thought process, like, I have friends that don't really have like other like hobbies and passions. And those are the people that had the worst time because they had nothing to tap into when they're sitting at home doing nothing. You know what I mean? So for me, I was thankful that at least like I could sit here and make beats. I could be inspired by film, or I could, make a little a little Instagram video or whatever, like just little stuff like that is just creative. You know what I mean? Like I started cooking more. That's another thing. I used to cook. I like to cook, but being home, I started cooking a lot more again. So that was nice. Just like, I don't know, just kind of life stuff, you know what I mean? Just being happy to be like healthy and stuff. That was also inspiring because, there was definitely people I know that had passed from COVID and from other complications and stuff like that. So, just, I don't know, just being cautious and also focusing on what's really important. You know what I mean?